So ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Digii100 Summit 25. Inviting our special guest, Mr. Madan Padaki. He is the Managing Trustee and Co-founder, Held High Foundation. And let's put our hands together to welcome Sir for his address.
Thank you. Good morning. Namaskara. And again, I think it's definitely worthy of a huge round of applause for all of us for this wonderful energy in the room. And Hemant, thank you for getting us all together. You know, as I was sitting there and reflecting on the power of youth, I couldn't think of any better example than Hemant himself. You know, I was just going back, 15 years ago, fresh out of college, with a lot of josh to say I want to do something. And I was just reflecting on the journey that you've had and the impact that you're creating. And I think my wish that for all of us is that there is a Hemant lurking in every youth of our country. And how do we make sure that we are able to unleash that potential in every human being, every young person out there? And imagine what Viksit Bharat will be when there are 10 or 100 million Hemants with that energy and power, right? No other better example, and kudos on the journey, Hemant. When I did this experiment about 15 years ago of unlocking potential of young people, when I saw zero educated, illiterate village youth who could never even recognize an alphabet of English, but in 6 months we had infused them with enough confidence and self-belief and agency that they could stand on a podium like this and deliver a lecture in English. That made me rethink the whole premise of employability and even education. To say that why are we classifying people into good, bad, ugly or whatever, right? I think my belief the last 15 years and Headline's journey is a manifestation that there is infinite potential in every human being. And I think especially as educators, as educationists, our responsibility is to draw that out. You know, Professor Mahmoud Yunus once told me very beautifully, he says, a lot of us die without knowing what treasures lie within. Right? And to me, education or educier, whatever the root word, is to draw that treasure out, present it to young people and say, you're capable, go make change happen. 150,000 young people that Held High has touched over the last 15 years come from the poorest of the backgrounds. Today we operate in 100 districts in 22 states. The average family income that we continue to work with happens to be 60,000 rupees per annum. And when we find them, we partner, for example, with Taj Hotels, where we are working to create 100,000 jobs the next 5 years. We've already done about 20,000, and they get salaries at 1.5, 2 lakhs per annum. That changes not just the family, it changes generations. In fact, it's a matter of pride that 2 of my rural youth and I are the first show for the entire incoming batch of all civil servants of the country the last 5 years. We teach at Labasna. We are the first faculty they meet. I do a 12-hour immersion on what does it take to transform rural poverty. And 2 of my role models are youth from Koppal and Raichur who talk about how they have transformed themselves. And I think that is the power that we are able to see. My conversation with Hemant and with several of you here is that I'm very excited about the pivotal moment that India is at from 3 angles. One is, of course, the economic growth that we are seeing. India continues to remain as one of the bright spots in the world, and if anything, is going right, it is happening here. It should happen here. 2, aspirations of young people are changing very dramatically. We've launched a survey called UGraph, which is called the Youth Growth, Resilience, Aspirations, and Future Readiness Index. I'm happy to share that with this community. We've just come out with an inception report. 2 critical myths are being busted. One is, I think, this whole Gen Z, brush that we paint the youth with. I'm realizing how wrong we are. In fact, across the country, 22 states, we've spoken to young people, and one of the common words that they use is mehnat. That they're saying, listen, I believe that if I put the right effort in this country, I will succeed, which to me is very heartening. It shows that young people are ready to put in that effort and to access the economic and the social growth that's happening around. And the second thing which is happening, which is clearly is, of course, they realize the value of education, continue to realize the value of education. But more importantly, we are hearing voices saying, I want to make a difference to my society. I want to be someone who's looked upon by my community as somebody who's helping them, right? And I believe that when we read such kind of signals from the market, it is, if we can amplify those signals, celebrate those change makers, celebrate those stories, it will set an example. One of the young women that who was with me at the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy was a 19-year-old Shanta who ran away from her home in a remote village in Raichur because her parents were forcing her to get married at the age of 15. She conspired with her elder sister, took all the necessary legal precautions and landed up at the doorstep of our center in Tumkur and said, I want to come here and I want to learn. And the last 4 years, she says, I have prevented at least 150 girls in my district from getting married, young girls, because they now have a role model. They say, if Shanta can do it, why can't I? Right? And I think our opportunity is to create these role models and have them shape the narratives around the community. The third thing, which I think is a fantastic trigger and a tipping point, is of course technology and AI. To leverage AI as a force for good. For me, AI is just not technology. AI is a platform on which we can rebuild a new Bharat. As Gandhiji said, Purna Swaraj will happen only when Gram Swaraj happens. And for me, one manifestation is that can AI be the new digital charka for our country, right? Imagine every village leveraging the power of AI to do all the things that we've been wanting to do, right? How do you improve healthcare outcomes? How do you improve education? How do you get better water? How do you improve agriculture, right? And I think if you combine these three aspects, if we can leverage universities and young people to become solution providers using AI for the local communities itself, that is a massive opportunity. In this context, at the Heddle Foundation, we've launched something called as Jan AI. We believe that what India needs is not more of Gen AI, but Jan AI. How do you take AI to the masses? And we are visualizing, and we will hopefully launch it at the India AI Impact Summit here in the next couple of months. We are trying to create India's first 100 AI-ready villages, where 4 layers are coming together. One is, of course, training. We've already trained about 25,000 rural citizens on AI. What is AI? How do you use it? It's like WhatsApp or Facebook. Secondly, how do you then leverage local youth, college graduates, to design solutions? We work with VTU, for example, where come Jan, we're deploying about 10 to 15,000 students to go to 5,000 villages and look at problem statements, identify solutions, and build using AI. That becomes their internship projects. Third, can we then use some of them as entrepreneurs in a village to run agentic AI cafes where they can start being solution providers to the village communities on AI itself? And eventually, can there be a data or a digital collective of such youth at every district who can then own the data and monetize the data for the village benefits? We've started partnering with a variety of universities. Thanks to Hemant, we've got connected to a variety of, with a lot of partners here. We work with IIIT Dharwad, RDPR University, VTU. We've been having some fascinating conversations with Tariq at Liverpool, where we are again partnering from TIE to run the Center for Entrepreneurship as well. So I think, just to summarize, I think we are at a fantastic inflection point where universities can open up their boundaries and become community learning and community change-making centers, maybe for 100 or a 200-mile radius from your university. Can every university become a nodal point for change-making in the community? And can we really empower young people to dream, to use tools, to use technology, to become change maker in this community? And I think, to me, apart from just being an economic goal of Viksit Bharat is when every person in the country can hold their head high and say, yes, I am fully capable, I am committed to serving my country, and I feel that my potential is being used to the fullest extent. And this convening today is to me one of those pivotal moments in that whole journey, where we all come together as a community, not as individuals, and say, what can we do together to make a difference? Happy to engage, work, lend my shoulder to the wheel in any of the initiatives across, and look forward to fulfilling all of our dreams together when we march together. Thank you so much.